Live.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
We're live.
Live now?
Yeah,
Yes.
I did the countdown.
All right.
So
We're back.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So last week, Scaff was on the podcast and Brandon was out of town. Brandon's still out of town. This week we have Ted Kaczynski filling in for Brandon McGather.
That's not my name. It's me, Brandon. You can't tell because of my outfit.
I told him this morning he looked like the Unabomber with those glasses on.
I don't think you can say Unabomber. I think we just got canceled.
I watched the documentary on the Unabomber.
What'd you
Why
think?
can you not?
You into it or
It's
no?
very interesting. I don't know about into it. I don't know what that means.
Like, are you next? The people want to know.
Like, am I going to be the Unabomber next?
Or no, you can't be the Unabomber, but will you be like the second? Like
Can you be like the
Unabomber 2.0?
duo bomber?
The doble in Espanol. All right. Want to share something with you guys. I've been working pretty hard on this one. And it goes a little something like this. Yeah. What? Back on the podcast on the Brandon and Lindsey show. We got a guest this week, but we don't know if he's gonna show. But we call him Einstein. He's a great big old jerk. A Brandon and Lindsey podcast. All messed up there. Okay, welcome to the show. Like I said, I worked pretty hard on that one. It took me over a year to write that.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked every day for like 3 hours a day.
And you knew that Einstein was going to be on the podcast that long ago? Or our chairs too close together now?
Well, yeah, I knew because we come prepared. Y'all think we just throw this together at the last second? Well, y'all think we just sit here and come up with things to say like right before we go on air? Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong again, Thomas.
I can definitely.
All right, we got some hard-hitting questions for Einstein. And not just that, but we got some stuff that we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Number one, most importantly, we got to talk about the new Matrix movie. So if you haven't seen it yet,
Spoiler alerts.
This is a spoiler alert right here. Keelan, I would like for you to type the words Matrix, new Matrix, spoiler alert, and put it on that banner down there. Kai Johnson, what's up? Kai has been a member of the channel for 8 months. Believe that? What's up?
Wow. Kai? Other people need to be, you need to tell them how to become members.
Go ahead, love.
Well,
oh
you
my
can't
God,
do it if you're on mobile, right? You got to do it from your desktop.
You could do it on mobile if you're on Android, but not on iOS because iOS, if you got an Apple iPhone, them and YouTube, they don't get along.
They don't like it.
No, they don't like it.
So it's right underneath the video, right? There should be a button that says join.
Yes, it's on the bottom right of the video. You just hit that join button and then you can become a bread eater. And then Lindsey will make this noise for you.
Boom, 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 bread eater.
Yeah. Oh, I see Einstein just popped in. Einstein, have you seen the bring him in? Bring him in. I'm ready.
What?
Oh my God. It's my little boo-boo.
You don't know what you're missing though.
Dude, I'm glad that wasn't a naked guy. I wasn't sure as the camera started panning.
He technically is naked. I mean, if I shaved his fur, he'd be naked, right?
I don't know if
he doesn't have any clothes on.
I got fur, but if I take my clothes off, people still call me naked.
Well, then you're naked, Tom. You're a naked guy. You're a naked man. I'm sitting on my couch with a naked man.
Hey, can I ask you a question real quick about that?
While we're on this subject? Many questions you. Am I supposed to put headphones on for this thing, or it doesn't matter because I'm in my house?
You just do. You know what? I want you to do whatever you want to do. This is all about you today.
Experience for the users and listeners. How many people are watching this? Like 3?
Oh man, no, dude. We're
checking the link to my mom. Go watch.
13. You
sent the link to your mom. My mom will watch this and start talking to it. baby, what do you do? Why is your hair like that?
At least you got hair. My mom don't bring that
Yeah.
topic up. She'd be like, "I'm
It's
sorry. I know it
sensitive.
runs through the middle side."
I got hair, but I
Jew
see
ball.
some of the videos, and if I'm a little sweaty or whatever, and then like in here seems very light, and then I'm like, oh, it's over. It's fucking done.
The longer my hair gets, the more bald you can tell I am.
You should do the old school John Danaher where it's like, yeah, dude, you're bald, and he just has like one going across. Like, no, look.
just Trump flop it right over to the
Oh,
side.
man. I saw a picture of when he first came to America, and he was like he was wearing like MC Hammer pants and like no shirt, and then he had this weird like fluffy mullet thing going on. I was like, ooh,
It's tough out
those are
there
some
for
rough
a pimp.
days.
It's tough out there for a pimp. Einstein, are you a big Matrix fan?
Okay, so funny you should say so. I don't think I really was. I think the majority of the movies, but I just last night I watched the first one again, and I was like, damn, this was on some other shit. Like I
It's
was
a
really
whole new level.
I was like, well, so fun fact. One is I never say that, and I'm only saying that I never said that because they just said that in a Larry David episode. Anyway, but see how original and creative I am. But I forgot what the fun fact was.
It doesn't
wait,
have to be fun.
Here it is. I did go to community college at one point, and one of the classes was like philosophy.
Okay.
And there was this whole thing about how do you know we're not just like brains in jars and that's everything. We're programmed to think X, Y, and Z. We don't even exist. And there was like a whole thing on, and you debate and argue and blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember who it was. It could have been Cheeky. I don't fucking remember these people. Like, all I would do is go to what are the questions going to be? And remember the answers and write that down. Okay, cool. I'm a deep thinker. So, and then I'm watching that. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, I remember like that's kind of what they were talking about, because they're not brains in jars. They're food, they're energy sources in pods that are born in those pods for artificial intelligence to live off of, and then if you happen to wake up, you get thrown in the garbage.
It's tough out there for a pimp. When you have brain in a jar and you realize it, that's a tough day at the office.
Yeah, you're
That's
awake.
tough.
You're awake for a moment, but then you're dead. The robot crab thing comes and fucking unplugs you when you're in the trash. You're in some sewer system, and then you're dead. Or Morpheus and his squad hit you up and save you and say,
not that much different than what really goes on, really.
I feel like as I'm watching that, I feel like all the heavy conspiracy theorists all think they're Neo.
Well, I'm Neo for sure.
Yeah, we know what we don't know.
Yeah, that's me.
The woke people have to wake up. It's like,
isn't that funny how woke went to the other side in the last like 2 years? It used to be woke was the conspiracy guys.
I was like, I'm in for equal rights. I don't care if gay people get married, like whatever. Like,
what did you just say?
He's woke. Einstein's woke. I'm like, okay. Maybe he needs to wake up. I'm like, all right. So wait, I'm confused.
I feel awake. I don't know. So I'm a huge Matrix fan. Like the first Matrix, literally to me, is one of the most important films that I ever saw for myself. Second one was good. Third one was okay. So when this new one dropped last night on the old HBO Max, when I say I was excited about it, I've been waiting for this.
Wait. It was on last night? I thought it wasn't going to be till next month.
No, it released last night. And I
saw it, and I was like, oh, I saw a date, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah, dude. Get that HBO Max and let's go. So
it's funny how you get older and you don't want to leave the house. Like, as a kid, all you want to do is go out. You're like, let me out of here. This is a kid. I'm like, oh, I don't have to go anywhere. This is great. Like, I'm literally moving from my old place. That's what's echoing in here. It's so fucking big. And there's nothing here. I'm moving from my old place, and I'm looking for an excuse not to go to the old house and get stuff. And I'm like, well, I have stuff to unpack today. I can stay here and do that. That's my excuse. It has to get done at some point.
Not really. You could just leave all that stuff over there and just never see it again, and you'd probably be just fine.
No, there's definitely things I need from my old place. Like,
we got a spray paint can or something.
Oh, I got like Fuck, I got 300 cans of paint in the garage. The garage is, in my head, the garage is separate from the house. I haven't touched that yet. I have, the garage is full. I have shit upstairs. I had the movers come and pay them way too much money. And there's still so much big shit that they just kind of walked around and didn't. I'm like, what do you want me to do with this fucking massage chair? Like, you want me to put this, like, how do you, and there was literally boxes that they just walked past and left there. And I wasn't organizing because I was on the phone with the real estate. My fucking nose is running like crazy. With the real
you got
estate.
that Rona.
Yeah, probably. Everyone's dead.
You the Omicron kid.
Yeah, or I've just been in dust for the last fucking 3 days cleaning out the old place.
Or it's the Rona.
Have you sold the old place yet?
I'm not selling it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm trying.
He's stacking up, man. You know,
Gotcha.
I'm trying to have as many properties as possible and
That's
rent
awesome.
them or Airbnb, depending on the location. Like Airbnb, I'm like in LA, you can't Airbnb for more than 128 days, which is So it's kind of it's just basically saying you can't have a property to Airbnb, like unless if you live in a property and you have like a guest house or something, then fine because you live there, it's whatever. But like, yeah, whatever, they're lame. It's fucking corny. But in other states, other areas, you can have property Airbnb all year, and if you have like a super busy area that's constantly I have a spot. I have 2 units in Colorado Springs, and it's by the Olympic Training Center, and it's by some military school. I don't think it's actually, maybe it's a base, or I don't know. I think there's like a school and there's a base. So you have all these families coming in to see their loved ones that they're not in the military, and they just will rent Airbnb for like 2 weeks straight. Like, and they're paying,
That's awesome.
and then they're out, and then they come back, if they like the place. So like those 2 units are, and for the price I bought it, the price I bought that place was less than the deposit I paid on the place I'm in right now, right? So like, and that's 2 units. So like,
yeah,
like that's just, I mean,
I can imagine West LA. Yeah.
Yeah, I've stacked enough chips over the years that like I can go, okay, I'll put a few hundred here, put a few hundred here, put a few hundred here, and it doesn't bother me. Like I don't like to see the bank go down, but it's still substantial what's in there. So I'm not concerned about like finances. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna use all this and then how do I get by until money comes in? Like it's whatever. I put my money away. So like, good Jewish boy. So like that's just profit. It's just all passive income. So like I'll have this place that I just moved into. I have 4 units right now, and I got to fix the other one up that I just moved out of. But like, that's what I'm going to bring in is twice as much as what I have to pay to be there. Right. Like I got to pay my mortgage still over there, and I got to pay my property tax and HOAs. And then on top of that, I'm still going to make like 2,500 to 2,800 every month.
That's awesome.
And then I put that all towards this place that I just moved in. So potentially those 2 units or 3 units are all paying for themselves, paying for the place I live, paying me back for what I put in, and potentially putting a couple extra dollars on my pocket. And then you do, this 2022, depending on how the mortgage companies and all that shit, the lenders, allow, then I'll buy more properties. I'll just buy them out of state. I won't buy them in California anymore. Unless there's a big dip. If something that's going for like, 800 or $1 million drops to like 600, yeah, I'll buy that shit,
So is that where the main, like your investments are, is in property? Or do you invest, like you got some crypto, you got some?
Oh yeah, no, I have crypto. I have different altcoins, not a ton. I mean, I sound like an asshole when I say that. I think I have like 3 Bitcoin, and I don't know what they are today because I don't pay attention anymore. Oh, I used to watch it, but what I did was I put everything on my ledger, my hard wallet, and I have to plug that in, and then I have to go on to the app thing, and then I have to see what I have. I mean, a smarter person would have wrote down the exact amount and then just checked. I'm not gonna fucking do that later. So I have like three of those, and I probably spent $15K total on those years ago.
Yeah.
So I think they're worth like 120. I don't know.
Almost 150. It's 48,000 this morning for one.
So, yeah, so that was a good investment. And I'll just
Oh,
leave
yeah.
it. To me, it's like a retirement fund, and hopefully it just keeps
Word.
Stacked up.
And then I have the other ones. I have like Ethereum, which is good because Ethereum, it's used for. I can use it to mint or whatever on all that those drawings that I'm doing.
NFTs.
Yeah.
You gonna make some Einstein NFTs or what?
Not yet. I'll get to it. Right now, though, since people are listening, and probably you're all broke and won't spend any money, but that's not my fault. Why are you even watching this right now? You should be working.
Dude, people don't
Hustling
work.
on something.
Everybody that watches this show is definitely watching it at work because
They're
there's
all
nobody.
mad.
There's nobody that
You're
wants
an
to
asshole. I
see.
hate that guy. But I'm gonna do a fight, like a combat sport related. I'm thinking of a witty, clever, simple name. Personalities. So like I'll probably just do an NFT of the wrinkles on your forehead. But
Okay,
my balls
Lindsey, I
on
won't
it.
let him talk to me
Like
like
a
that.
tongue
I
hanging out.
I got some too.
Yeah, but I've only done 3. I've done like a chocolate L. I mean, it was the day before his birthday. I was like, oh, I'm gonna see him, so I should draw something up. And I was like, oh, it's an NFT. So like, they're not minted or anything yet. They're not even on the whatever it is, MetaMask or OpenSea. And then I have one of Eddie Bravo. How to do him like he was the first, right? Because I send Eddie my artwork all the time. He likes that shit. Like you wouldn't think, but he's like, dude. He doesn't follow my art account because I would just argue with his followers that didn't know who I was because it's basically anonymous to those people. And he was like, "That's enough. I have to block you." Blocking me?
I like that he tells you that he's gonna.
He's like, I got her, dude. Like, because it's all. I'll go against all his conspiracy shit and like I'll roll my eyes at everything, and then like his fans will start arguing. Like, they're not even arguing. They're just like this is what Eddie wants me to say, so I will say it. And I'm like, nah, son. And then I fight and like gun stuff and so he like blocked me, so he can't see it. So I'll just every once in a while send him like a picture, and he's like, "Dude, that's sick! Holy shit, you did that!" So it's cool. It's very supportive, even though he's not like an art person, but he's still in my life. So it's like, hey, here's what I'm doing. So I did one of him first, and then I did Chocolate L because it was a birthday thing. But then it was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it digitally. And then I did Rogan. As well, and then I'm gonna start like just picking people out and just stacking up a whole file of different because it doesn't have to be. I think it should be a combat sport related, right? So that gives me the excuse to do Mike Tyson. I don't need an excuse, but like, hey, let me put it in this. But I can also do like Hoist Gracie. I mean, he fought, so but like jiu-jitsu people that haven't fought, like. Who's like a well-known jiu-jitsu guy who hasn't fought, like a Gordon Ryan, right? He hasn't fought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary Tonin fights.
Yep.
Fucking murders people. I like Gary Tonin.
He's a savage, bro.
But I like him.
I've never met him. I never have had a chance to spend any time.
I've trained with him. We talk here and there, and he's just got and he's a lot younger than me, and like even when.
Dude, everybody's a lot younger than you.
I know, oh, right? But like, I hung out with Menendez for.
I don't know that we are.
Hey, we're just slightly younger than you. Slightly. It's not.
Sharing it in. But
are
yeah,
you 60 yet?
What did I put on the fucking? Oh, I reversed the numbers for my birthday. My chick got me a birthday cake, and we out, and I just reversed it, and it was out in public at a restaurant. So they came out with the candles, and I quickly switched it and said 64. People looking at me like.
Dang, you look so good.
Someone wrote me on like Instagram, like, "Are you really 64?"
It's hard for me to believe that you're 46. Like you're the most handsome 46-year-old in the game, dude.
Go vegan.
I may not have much choice. I got to do something. I've been having to make some decisions because I'm getting old, and my doctor was like, "Hey, your family has high cholesterol. You can't eat like an idiot anymore." Okay.
Something I have always said is like, "Hey, change your diet because you want to, right? Versus change it because you have to, right?"
Yeah, but I never wanted to.
I know, but you
Still doesn't want to.
I still
because
don't
you
want to. I'm at
exactly
peace
you
with
have
it.
to now, and you don't want to. You're gonna resist even more. It's gonna be harder. But if it was like, you know what, I train, I do these things, blah blah blah. I want to look as good as Einstein when I'm 80. Like that sounded like a fart. But like,
I'm so glad you're here. I got to be honest, dude.
okay.
We're like I think me and you are like the perfect odd couple. It's like we're complete opposites in almost every regard.
I fucking love you, dude. You're one of my like if I feel like if I was like had some kind of emotional like weird thing going on, like I felt upset or sad, I would probably call you. Like, tell
And
me
I would,
something positive. Like, I'm about to kill these people. I don't know what to do. This one hurt my feelings, or whatever the fuck people, whatever they act out on. And I'd be like, "Hey, Brandon, I need to talk to you for a moment." And I'd feel comfortable doing that. Who
I
I
would
used
let you
to
lay
be?
your head on my shoulder, and I would just rub your little head. It would be sweet.
Way back in the day, way back before he did jujitsu, Rasan, Hanata Larange.
You don't give the real name. People
Oh,
still don't know.
Hanata Larange, I used to go to when I
And
felt
not
like
the Larange.
I felt very open to be vulnerable around him. Way back years ago. I don't talk to him that much anymore. But yeah, I got him into all that shit. But we don't talk much. I love that there's like adults. Like I had a guy who was like I think he was a TV show producer. Around my age, came in years ago, and was like, "Yo, this dude," and he's like, I'm just like looking at him. He's like, "What's his deal?" Blah blah. I'm like, "I don't know, man. He just he's old school. He's got problems with Eddie." I'm just like, I'm just sitting there like you're a fucking grown ass man. You can't tell. All right, cool. Speaking of farts, Tom, you need to stop. It's horrible. It's not. He's not making noise. He's just and he just went out and he stinks.
Put the camera on the dog so that people can see.
Speaking of Tom, so I was looking at your Instagram, the West LA Instagram, and I saw that you sent out a picture of the puppies. And so Brandon wanted me to read your caption, what you put underneath the picture. It says, "This is the happy holidays photo I just emailed to the gym's email list. A lot of people unsubscribe to the emails. What TF is wrong with people? All unsubscribes hate dogs and support animal abuse. I hate you. Happy holidays."
If the email you got is a picture of fucking dogs with a Santa hat on a pencil,
I
and you
know that.
unsubscribe, no, unsubscribe. I hate this. What is wrong with you? There was nothing like, "Hey, come to the gym," or "We got a special deal," or blah, blah, blah. It was two dogs, cute as fuck. There's like a fireplace in the back and like tinsel and like figurines and some artwork. And they're just like, and I'm like,
Unsubscribe.
no, hate dogs, bad. I'm a cat person. What the fuck is wrong with people?
I don't know why I love prickly people so much. But you're just
hold
one
on.
of my favorite people of all time, dude.
I send out like one, potentially two emails a fucking year to my list. That's it. Is it so? It's like I just bought.
Keelan's just eating this up over
He's
there.
just crying.
I just bought like stocks from bombas, which in Brazil, in Portuguese, bomba means like juice, like steroids.
Yeah, steroids.
There's a company called Bombas for socks, which is funny. I don't know. And I bought like for my chick.
Socks are performance enhancing if your toes are cold.
These are like these socks aren't even socks. They're more like house slipperish, but they're socks, right?
Okay.
So they're perforated on the bottom with that little rubber shit that's gonna fall off.
Ooh.
So I got her some pairs of those, like 2. And as soon as I get the pair, they start sending me emails. And I'm like, I just bought this. I didn't miss the deal. I just bought it, right? And every day there's 2 emails from Bombas. But every day I see the 2 emails and I go, okay, and I just move. I don't fucking unsubscribe. It's gonna take a while before I unsubscribe. These motherfuckers get 1 email from me a year of a dog, 2 dogs, ho-ho-hoing it, and they're like, no. Man, so much. Don't want to know anything about defending myself.
But I like the I hate you. Happy holidays.
I hope they see it.
I do too. I really do. And God bless them. You know what I'm saying?
But
All right,
it kind of lights my fire to send more emails. It's like, you know what, you two, get out of here. Fuck out of here, both of you.
Einstein, we got some hard-hitting questions for you here, dude.
Okay, I'll try my best. I have a shitty memory. I don't know it's from getting hit or a lot of LSD use as a child at a very young age.
What age would you say you started that behavior?
14.
14? You started?
I know. We see it now. You're like, you're 14. Oh, that's what 14-year-olds. And I'm like, I was doing acid at that age. Jeez. I was doing acid at that age. I was getting blowjobs at that age. And I was sneaking out and staying out. I had robbed a fucking store at that age. Like, not like a gun, like, but climbed through the roof.
Okay. I had some hard-hitting questions. I want to go down this path a little more. Because I know some of your stories, of course, but like, give us as much as you're comfortable, of course, which you just said you got a blowjob at 14, so I'm figuring you're pretty comfortable.
I'm good on everything. Statute of limitations, like.
But I want to hear about like your upbringing. So obviously you're an East Coast guy, because nobody would talk like you from any other part of the country.
They don't sound Canadian.
No, dude, you. So, like, let me hear like the Einstein origin story.
This is my flask, by the way. Not like hydro flask, like it has rum in it.
It's kind of early.
Yeah, and he's on West Coast time. He's like 3
chugging
hours
it.
early.
Yeah, but you put pineapple juice and you're good.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I had an umbrella.
That's what makes it breakfast.
There's a little paper umbrella. Okay. I wonder if I get like, because of my age, I get like a pass on saying some of the things I say. You know how like you could watch.
Well, because you're senile.
Like an old man who just says horribly racist shit or offensive shit. And it's like, oh, well, he's old. He doesn't know that's from his time. I wonder if I'm old enough to get that pass. Like, did he just say that?
You look that old, so you probably don't get a pass.
Yeah,
yet.
I think I would get that pass before you, just because I look like I'm 61 and you look like you're still in your early 30s.
Apparently, the purchasing and moving in and XYZ of this new place that I'm looking around at has gotten me some gray hairs. Coming in
out there.
Well, dude. You understand?
I just dyed mine last night.
I'm literally filling up a moving truck with movers. Mattresses are coming. Mattress is coming. Thousands of dollars of shit. And the real estate broker's like, "Don't move in today. Can you keep it on the truck?" That's what I've been dealing with. Like, they didn't
but yet you're sitting in the house, right?
Oh, I fucking took the key when I was in the walkthrough. I kept the key and I said, "Yeah, all right, cool. Have them call the cops." The amount of money that has been wired. This house where you live, the cost of in total with the bank, what it total at, we'll buy a fucking city block where you live. All right. Don't fucking tell me I can't. You have my money. I'm going in the house. Fuck off. So it was just like a whole thing. We didn't have to get into it. Yeah, I was I was technically trespassing and sleeping here. I was like, whatever, I'm squatting. You have this much money of mine, but I'm squatting. I'm also furnishing the house that I'm going to squat in. Yeah. There's a 64-inch TV right there that I put in the house that I squat in.
That's not bad. 64-inch TV is not even that big anymore.
You're not the typical squatter.
You're kind of slumming it up over there, to be honest with you.
Get out of here.
It's so far away.
Look at it.
Is it even flat?
Dude, throw your dog at the TV.
It's flat like the girls I won't date. I'm a butt man anyway. You can be flat as hell. I will date them. If the back is like that, then I will date them.
Word.
You just can't be flat in the back.
I will marry them and their friends.
Keelan. All right, I want to hear about the Einstein origin story.
Fuck, dude, I don't know. I mean, what? Oh no. What is the ordeal, young lady? You hear her? The rabbit? Rabbit! Stop being a puta. Yeah, they have the new window.
That window tripping them out. Like, wait a minute. There's outside this way. That's not normal.
Shut up. Bugs, come here. Oh, there's people picking the garbage. Like the recycling bin, there's a family like digging through it to get their cans.
Lindsey, just from this interview so
And
far,
that's how you buy a house.
Who do you think it's harder to keep on task, me or Einstein?
Whew, I don't know. That's pretty rough.
There's an interruption. I'm addressing it.
Let's have a little contest. How many concussions? How many concussions have you had, Brandon? Like,
I have no idea.
You don't have any idea how many concussions you've had, Einstein?
That shit. I'm like, yeah, it hurts. I got a headache. Let's move on. But I definitely was getting them before I ever did fighting because I was like jumping off of like roofs onto like a box spring or something, like a dumb kid. Like it's a mattress and it's not.
You're like parkour.
It looks like a mattress.
Over or under 20? Over or under 20?
Concussions?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been like, hey, come here. Enough of your big mouth. Get the fuck over here. Knocking shit over. Get on the couch, you little dirtbag. Like, what are you preventing?
Aww.
Them from going and getting cans? Stupid ass. Now she's gonna be huffing and puffing. Tom, get up.
She's protecting you. She's protecting you.
Get up.
She's letting you know when the bad people are close. The can people.
He's lucky. Look at those glutes, boy.
Are you still able to climb? Is the climbing gym open?
Yeah, it's open, but it's fucking lame because they're like, wear your mask. I'm like, there's no one near me. Why am I wearing a mask if there's...
I'm on top of a fake mountain. Leave me alone.
Yeah, they're over there. Why do I have to wear this? And I'm vaccinated, and I got all the stupid things here. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I go. I just went Monday? No, I went Sunday. I went Sunday, and I would normally go Wednesdays as well, but I had to move shit back and forth. I still got shit to do today. I got to move a bunch of shit. But now it's like scattered at the house. So it's kind of like instead of shit's compiled in like a box, like they don't all go in the same box, and there's not enough to put them in a box. So I'm like up and down the stairs, like just putting random miscellaneous shit in a car.
Hey, put this comment up, Keelan. This that Kai Johnson just said here. Yeah, this one. He says, just so you know, B-Mac is willing to kill your dog. But that's not accurate. People think I hate dogs, but I treat dogs like I treat people I don't know. Like I like Einstein's dogs because Einstein vouches for them. But I'm not like just random dogs. I don't like, hey, I don't know. I don't know about this dog here.
Stayed in the house with the dogs.
That's right. Like Fabi's dog. I love Fabi's dog because Fabi vouches for that dog.
Does she live in Alabama now?
No, she still lives in college, but she comes. Her and Rob come all the time.
How far is that trip?
I mean, they fly usually. There's a real cheap like connection between here and Denver. For some reason, it's just one of those routes that's like, you can get it round trip for like $100 if you catch it right. So they come all the time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's not that I hate dogs. I'm allergic to dogs, and so if Einstein vouches for them, they're cool with me. That's it. It's not a dog hate. I want to hear more about you doing LSD as a 14-year-old.
I've already addressed on Instagram your disdain for animals.
Yeah, well, like I said,
you wrote me back. There was a threat.
In his response, there was a threat, or you sent the threat?
No, I did. One of your children are missing.
Well, it might depend on which one.
All right, so you did
upset.
LSD as a 14-year-old.
Yeah. So yeah, that age I was like, that was like 14 was probably like 14, 15. I was probably my worst. Like as a person, like I like wanted to hurt people, and I would act out in attempts to hurt people. You know, how little kids like, I'm gonna hurt myself. I was like, no, I want to do it to other people, and I was like always ready, like to.
What city did you grow up in?
I'm Queens, New York. Ironic name, right? You forget, like, hi, I'm gonna cut you, bitch. How do you sound tough coming from Queens, right?
I don't know. I think everybody knows that Queens is a tough town.
But if you know,
it's not as tough as Speak Alabama.
Got my back, right? Like, you move. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's kind of like what was more appealing to me. It was like, oh, go play baseball, you know, and join a little league, and we're basically wear spats, and you know, and at that age, I was like, no. And I throw.
But now you're like, yeah, spats.
Yeah, all day. But like I throw a ball like that, like I push it instead of like throwing it.
You threw it like you were from Queens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? One of my friends, he was a professional baseball player. He threw 98 mile per hour pitch in high school, and got drafted and was like on the White Sox and I think the Blue Jays, and like he was a real pitcher. So he taught me how the right way to throw the ball, but I don't. Anyway, I didn't do that. So it was like, okay, you go play baseball. You can go do your work in school. You can go, you know, I don't know what the fuck people do. Kids, you know, everyone had their little cliques. And I was like, oh, I want to continue to almost get arrested or get arrested. I want to get in cars with my friends and go to other neighborhoods where other kids are like us. We're basically have the same exact. We're clones of each other, and you know, hit each other with bats and fucking. This is what happened. This was our sport.
You just hit each other with bats.
You've seen the stab wounds. I have
you got
all over me. Like this.
How many stab wound scars do you have?
One stab, one slice, and then I have.
What about
little
gunshots?
ones I can't see anymore. No,
Gunshot?
I've been shot at like once or twice, but not by like I was robbing like we were breaking into.
He's like, I don't know. I've just robbed so many stuff. I can't remember
which robbery it was.
No, I'm trying to describe it right because people who rob me think like I have like a mask on and a gun. I'm like, you know, it's like like you're hopping a fence into someone's backyard behind their house, and this person, I think professionally rode like motocross or something like that because he had so many dirt bikes, like, you know, real dirt bikes. And we're just some fucking ratty ass kids at like 3 a.m, like, let's go. So we all hop this guy's fence and go through his bushes, and everyone's rolling out. We're like 14 big ass bikes that are too tall for us, but we know how to ride. Even though we were in Queens, we would always come upon someone's stolen dirt bike from like Long Island or something, and then we would ride through the streets and get chased by the cops or whatever. So I already knew how to ride, you know. I was even doing jumps and shit, like some dirt areas in Queens that we'd find and build out stuff. And even though I couldn't touch the floor, I was too short because I was like a real tiny kid. I could ride those. So we went to rob this guy's for all his bikes, and we had like fucking 12, 15 kids, and we just bum rushed and we fucking grabbed the bikes and we're running. This guy comes out.
Keelan's like, you're already Keelan's favorite guest we've ever had, just based on his reaction over there.
Is that the Irish kid?
No, that's Keith. He's in Ireland. Keelan, show yourself. Come on, come over here and show yourself. Camera. Come, boy, come. He's our dog.
That's not nice.
Well, I meant it in love. That's Keelan right there. He's
one. Have I met you before?
Probably when you came here.
He said, "Have we met before?"
I was the camera guy whenever you were being a great instructor and making all of our people that came with us do like cardio.
Oh
workouts.
yeah, so you remember when we were filming the shit
Okay,
when
I remember.
I brought all the Alabama guys. He was with us at
Yeah.
that time, and he was the camera guy. He's
You
he's
brought
one of our best
all the
jujitsu
sister
guys.
fuckers with you, huh?
Wait, what?
You brought all the sister fuckers with you?
Yeah, that was us.
This is my sister and my wife, Peggy Sue.
That's what we do here.
Well, at what
This is
point
my
did
daughter
you?
and my girlfriend.
At what point did you decide, like, okay, this kind of lifestyle is not productive, and I need to make some adjustments?
Hold on. So the guy comes out.
Wait, I still got some stuff to
Them-
rob.
Running out. Well, there's a gun story. Runs out. This is my first experience, I think. Runs out. You hear the shotgun. Bap, 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 bap. No. Boom. Boom. And we're like, we just drop the bikes and fly. That was the first time I got shot at. Years later.
If you could fly, why did you need bikes?
Well, we ran really fast.
Oh,
Figure-
okay. I'm sorry.
And me at fucking like 5'2" at that age, running fast with leg span this big wasn't very.
You just come up off the ground like it's like when when Elliot and ET they caught enough momentum to
Scooby Doo and feet start circling. But we just flew into, dove in their cars and hid, whatever. So I mean, not that exciting, but like it's in Queens, you don't hear shotguns.
Did you just say this is not that exciting?
I mean, no one got shot. Like
That's what makes it
that's
exciting.
his threshold for a cool
I had a
story.
gun
Nobody got
too.
shot. That's not even worth talking about.
So when did jiu-jitsu come in? Was that East
Wait,
Coast
that's
or wait?
wait.
Oh,
I want to
sorry.
find.
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta find. But that's after this question. That's the next
yeah,
one.
that was before I like juvie and all that shit. So I was probably 14 or 13 even. So anyway, like that type of life, that's who I rolled with. Those were my friends from the neighborhood. Like, I think I liked the idea of sort of like, even though I couldn't have clearly defined it at that age, just being an anarchist. People were always like, I'm older, you should show respect. And even at a very young age, I was like, no, you should earn my respect. You don't have it. That was me as a kid, and followed by fuck you, my mom, blah, blah, blah. With teachers, with everybody. I was just an asshole, I was kind of like a spoiled brat minus being spoiled, because so I'll go back more. When I think until I was about 10, so maybe from like 7, 6, 7, 5 till 10, 11, we had money. My mom's the GOAT. My mom went out there, no fucking education, got her GED at some point. I think that was after. I don't think she had a GED. She had nothing. Just some fucking Queens trash, right? But she's Jewish, so she can't really. But like, she fucking worked at she worked at a bank or somewhere, and then the real guy who ran the neighborhood, the development, he owned the development. He hired her as like a receptionist. She goes, I could do this. Starts selling real estate. She gets her license. Next thing you know, she owns a fucking company, like a storefront, the whole thing. She's killing it, buying Corvettes for cash, just rolling up with a yeah. My dad had Harleys and like those creepy vans with like the couch in the back and the TV set and all that shit in the vault. My mom's like
Familiar.
Yeah. My mom, but she didn't make wise investments, but she just got money, and she was just like, it was almost like she was like some kid from the hood who got a rap contract. Like this, like, look at my Jordans, like my dog's gold plated, like, and so like, that was my mom. So like so I was technically spoiled from like 10, 11 to whatever the fuck it is, 7 till like but it wasn't like I was born that way and then stayed that way. So I wasn't like, I want this, you better. I wasn't like Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Oh, I want that bike, Dad. And like, Pee-wee. My dad says I can have whatever I want. Like,
hey, I gotta say that's our first Pee-wee's Big Adventure reference that we've had
Yes.
on the podcast so far.
Half the people
That pleases
It's been
me.
a minute.
That pleases me.
like, is that the guy who jerked off in the movie theater?
Yes.
Mhm.
So he's a good actor. I was serious. So
He's a good actor. But I'm crying behind these shades.
yeah, so you know, right around, I think like I was like 11, 12. That's when my dad passed. And my mom, no, that's what happened. My mom, when I was like 11-ish or 10-ish, she just snapped. She got clinically depressed, like couldn't get out of bed, just couldn't function, lost everything. We were like living off of what my dad made. And my dad was cheap anyway. So if he made more, we didn't, it was like hidden. Like literally. Like if I had holes in my sneakers, he would go get like this shit called Shoe Goo 2. And Shoe Goo 2 was like in a toothpaste tub, and you'd spray it, and it was like a clear gel, and he'd pour it in the holes.
Also familiar with Shugo. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is this, man? And I'd cry to my mom. Eventually, I'd get like a new pair of Reebok pumps or some bullshit that he'd be like, "Argh." But like, so, and then he passed away, like a year or two after she's just out of depression. So then, we were poor. So I wasn't like spoiled, had it all, blah, blah, blah. I was for like a minute, but I didn't get adjusted to it well enough. And then it was like, all right, I want to dress like all my friends. You're at that age where everyone's wearing X, Y, and Z, and you start caring. So I was fucking breaking into places. We would go to like stores and pile up clothes like we were shopping, and then just run out the front door, and just bolt, and then like take the bus home with like $2,000 worth of clothes, so like that's like more of an origin that like lets you understand. And then like eventually I had like all these cases in court as a minor all catch up to me at once, and they're like, you're going to juvenile hall. So I went away for about a year. But from 14 to 15, where I was my most violent, I had done a lot of bad things to a lot of people, with no remorse at that age. For me, it was like, that's my rep. You need to know that Scotty Epstein is crazy. And if you fuck with Scotty Epstein, you're going to get cut, and that was it. And so didn't matter. And in my head, didn't matter how big you were. Like now, former professional fighter, like black belt in jiu-jitsu, like I know what to do in a situation. I am like, that's a big dude. I don't want to fuck with that guy. Like he probably doesn't know shit. Yes, I can mop him up, but like, oh man, if he just falls funny on top of me, it's gonna hurt my elbow. Like I just like, I mean, you almost saw me. He wasn't a big guy, but you almost saw me beat the shit out of someone.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. That's on the list. But okay, so at what point was it juvenile detention that kind of made you wake up to what was going on with your life, or did that come later?
I think it did help. It wasn't a bad thing. It took me out of my element. It was, you're away and you're like, a prisoner. But like in that place, they taught you to play the game. Literally, like just tell that person what they want to hear. Machiavelli shit.
Yeah,
do what you're supposed to till you're on top. Then do what the fuck you really want to. And there was rewards. Oh, you were a good boy for X amount of time. You get to watch TV later than everyone else. It was little things. You get to lead the line to lunch. You get to be the boss. You tell everyone to line up, when to get offline. Oh, you always get to go to gym. You don't have to be like, oh, there's too many people going to gym. You can't go today. Because that's when I got into working out. When I was 15 going on 16 in juvie, I started lifting weights. I went from 115 pounds to like 140 pounds. And it was all, it was puberty and whatever, but it was like I put all this muscle on, off of their fucking, Jamaican beef patties for dinner type bullshit, like in a tinfoil wrapper, right? Like the little chocolate milk container. Like the milk, no milk. The chocolate milk, oh yeah, I'll have chocolate milk. the little cardboard containers, like, and yeah, so they, you know, and then I started to understand repercussions. You know, prior to that, there was, you know, like I was saying before, you hurt somebody, do bad things. Only repercussions I'd really be worried about is if the cops came when I was like, you know, out all night, tripping my face off. And if another crew from another neighborhood was going to catch me out there and beat the shit out of me, you know, because that's what we were doing to them. But we were outnumbered. We were surrounded. Like my neighborhood, all the neighborhoods, most of them around us were out to get us.
Can y'all hear Einstein's dog snoring?
I was gonna say,
You hear that?
who's snoring? Oh.
Is Shantana?
Wait, listen. That was such perfect timing.
I actually sleep. I don't have to use I don't have to like yell at the phone to play white noise for me to sleep. I just have her right next to me. And then sometimes she farts with it. So you got the combo.
That's
Dueling
nice.
banjos.
Lindsey does a little of that herself.
Oh, dueling banjos? Girls don't do that. Bugs. Yeah, I forgot where I was. Yeah, went to JV.
Learning to deal with repercussion.
You know, and I got into like, I also got a level of commitment I never had because I got really into working out. And I was like, I was just like structured for once. There was structure that I wanted. And I learned that I can flip my mind to shit, you know, yeah. Even like I got my GED when I was in juvie. For those that don't know what that is, that means good enough diploma. And you get that instead of waiting 4 years. You can first year just be like, fuck school. And so I got that there and I did really well, like on the test, because they told you later how you ranked in the state of New York on your testing for your GD. And I got top 5%. And I was like, no, I'm fucking, because I don't remember, like right after, if you gave me the math problems, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I just remembered it for when I needed it. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like, I suck. Like, reading comprehension was always my shit. Like, storytelling and writing, I just naturally could do that. And, you know, understanding what I was reading, I scored very high in that. But like, math and other shit, was like, I don't know. And memory shit, like, you know, history, I was like, I don't know. Fuck, this shit is lame. Christopher Columbus discovered America. Am I right? Cool. You know, George Washington did in fact ride a white horse. What color was his horse, though?
Well, you're doing pretty well with math these days. Your
Redneck.
investments are doing pretty well.
You failed. It was brown. So yeah, I do well with numbers now, but you know, it's calculators. But so yeah, I got out of that, and it also made me really paranoid. I was like, I didn't want to get in trouble at all. And it took a long time before I was willing to go out. Like, I did graffiti right off the bat because I was dying for it. Like, maybe a year later, I started painting again. But I was sneaky about it. And I had gotten arrested a few times, but not for the actual graffiti, for, like, hopping the turnstile, you know, because I didn't want to spend $1 or whatever the fuck it was. They were, like, just dumb shit. But, yeah, I don't think I got caught for graffiti again. So that was, but I wasn't like robbing and stealing. And I definitely wasn't looking like to get into fights or hurt other people. I was like, I became a little more empathetic than I was prior years. I valued other humans a little bit more, not 100%, but a little bit more. I was still just as angry, but the other things kicked in. And then, back to a question you asked earlier, I was 17. I had a street fight. So I come back to the neighborhood and like there's this whole new flux of kids hanging out, like all these like Puerto Rican, Dominican kids that were like down with some of the younger kids that I brought up into like the gang graffiti shit that I was into as a kid. And I was still like popping up, hanging out once in a while. You know, I was busy with other shit. And one of these newer kids like had a fight with one of my age friends, and my friend beat him up. And then the other of one of those kids tried to like step to him, like right after he just fought, and like was popping shit. And like it was a neighborhood thing. So people and these other kids weren't really from the neighborhood, but they went to school there now. But they were hung out and they like they're repping our street. They're like on this main street that we hung out on when we were younger. And some people still hung out and passed by. And it was like, no, man, you ain't fucking hitting this kid. You ain't doing shit. Like you just fucked your boy up, and that's it. And this kid like turned to me and was like, "What? You know, blah blah blah." And I just cracked him. And then so we had this fight. And while we're there, one of the OGs from the neighborhood, older than me, this guy Hugo, who actually boxed, like had some fights and knew how to box. Like after the fight's said and done, like this guy, the kid was a wrestler too, which I never encountered. He kept taking me down, but I was hitting him a lot. So, and when I was standing up to box him, I didn't, I just threw haymakers the whole time. And then I put him in a headlock and hit him real hard and we'd fall on the floor. And then eventually it was over. And the kid Hugo that was there, the guy who boxed, he's like, "Yo, you got to work your boxing." I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm fucking throwing these heavy punches." He's like, "Nah, I'm going to straight punch you." I was like, "Straight? That's weak, man. You got to go." Oh. He's like, "Yo," Dominican kid. He's like, "Yo, Papa, you got to do it like this." And so like light bulb went off and I was like, I got to box. So I went to Ray Longo's.
Oh.
Before Ray Longo was Ray Longo.
Oh, I didn't know that. This is new to me.
So Ray Longo and Mike Ryan was his fighter. He fought a bunch. Dude from Hollis, Queens. And they ran a gym that was connected to a car detailing place that Ray Longo owned. So it was primarily a car detailing, whatever the fuck, automotive thing. That was Ray's. And then he had like this separate area and there was like a boxing ring maybe. And like, pads and like there wasn't mats to grapple or anything like that. Maybe even carpeted floors and heavy bags. And so I started training and it was Wing Chun concepts and kickboxing and Thai boxing. And so I started training there. That's when I first started like more because of the foundation of weight training. I had structure and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I was with them for like maybe 2 years or so. And maybe it was a little longer, I don't know. And I had broken my nose fucking goofing around with a friend, an accident. My nose went like this. What was that? It was like this. And I had a broken nose. I had gotten sliced across my stomach. And my engine seized in my car all in the same month. It was not a good month for me.
Oh, man.
So I stopped going to community college. I stopped training because I couldn't. And I didn't have a ride. And I was opened up. And then I think that might have been the end of it. And then I moved to Florida for like a month. I worked in a lot of nightclubs when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21 in New York, like big, cool nightclubs. Like, you got to get on the list. You got to know, you're not getting in here. And I worked at those clubs. And so I was nightlife too, but I wasn't doing drugs. I wasn't drinking. I just was really into the nightlife scene. And at 18 years old, sometimes you're making $400 or $500 a night cash.
Jesus.
And like living with my mom, And what is this walking by? What is this?
He's checking the battery on the camera.
He's doing producer stuff,
What kind of production you got going on over here? Oh, he's gonna switch the cameras.
We got a Star Wars helmet. That's what else do you
I
need?
mean, we're in sweats while we're in Martha's Vineyard back here. That's what I call our house back here.
Leisure hour.
Yeah.
Man of leisure. Family, leisure family.
Yeah, I was like, do any people that own houses that look like this wear this kind of stuff? It doesn't matter.
That's what we call a green screen in the biz.
I like the is that a green screen or is it actually?
Yeah, I do. What do you think I live in something?
I don't know. It looks legit.
Yeah.
I was going to
like 4 properties that
my
look like
artwork
this.
in the back. That's on one of my paintings. Cheap fuck.
Show him the green screen, Keelan. Show it to him. Here's the real truth.
It's
Brandon
like
and Lindsey
seeing the man
exposed.
behind the curtain.
With a Tonka truck in the
This
back.
is where we really are.
I'm hanging up. How do I hang this thing up right now?
Get these poor people off the line.
Wrinkle. I ain't in the fucking thing. I ain't in the green screen, you fucking lazy bastard.
Maybe I should have stabbed some people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so oh wait, going back to so when I was working in the club scene, I know I'm all over the place. People probably like, I can't listen to this fucking asshole.
Yeah, who cares? Nobody listened to this show anyway. Please go ahead.
Mom. So yeah, I worked in the club scene, and when I worked in the club scene, I got approached all the fucking time, but they hand me a card, these people. And it was like a man, like a gay dude with like long hair, and some like
Oh, I know that guy.
some lady, and they were together in the men's room where I was like cleaning or selling ecstasy or what the fuck I was doing. And they were agents from Wilhelmina Models. Now, Wilhelmina Models was, I don't know if they still are, they were one of the biggest modeling agencies, men and women. It was like Ford Model and Wilhelmina were the biggest in the country or in the world. I don't know. And like, I was like, I gave him my card. I was like, yeah, call me, whatever. I'll get you on the guest list. Some shit. I was like, get out of here, you know? And then I showed it to one of those club kids who are like, I don't know if you watched the movie with Macaulay Culkin, Party Monster.
Party Monster?
Yeah.
I never
heard of that one.
About the club scene in New York, this guy Michael Alec, who was like the head club kid or whatever, he made the most money, whatever. He murdered someone on some drug shit and was in jail forever, and he just recently died. He got out and died. So there's a lot of weird, like, there's like gay dudes and mostly and like whatever girls, and they would like dress up in these outrageous outfits, these goofy, weird fucking outfits, and they throw
It's a lot like today, really.
Yeah, they throw the sickest parties in New York. Like it was hard to go to. So like I knew all them. I worked with them, and so I showed them the card, and they're like, "Where'd you find this?" Like all aggressive. "Where'd you find this?" And I'm like, "Some dude and some." No, they didn't. Stop lying. And then one came over and was like, "Scotty, you better fucking call them." He took his gay voice away and he's like, "Scotty, you better call these motherfuckers." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." So I became a model citizen. While I was doing that, I would go to I lived in Italy for a little bit. There was a season in Miami, German catalog would come in, and I would go there. And so while I was in Miami, after I broke my nose and the black eyes went away, after the scarring was still there on my stomach, but like a few months later, I went to Miami and I stayed out there and I met some dude who trained at Henzo's, some big dude. And he was telling me all about it. And I already knew about it, but I didn't know where any schools were. So when I came back to New York, I looked in the phone book because the internet wasn't really a thing then, you know?
Yeah. This
I mean, it was, but it was, you know. I saw there was Henzo's, and then there's Fabio Clemente, which was Machado's. It was a Machado's affiliate. It was like RCJ Machado's. I think it was what it was called. And then there was someone else, like, I forgot the guy's name. I don't know who the other guy, I forgot. And that guy was like off. But they were the three gyms that were existing, and they were in Manhattan. So then I started jiu-jitsu then. I came back and I went to Fabio's or Machado's because I felt like it was less popular than Henzo's. I figured Henzo's, like anyone that like, I just thought it was going to be a bunch of like steroided out like Guidos that were just trying to be tough. And I was like, I don't want to deal with those people. I'll go to the more boutique school. And it was the more boutique school. So I went there instead. And that's where the jiu-jitsu journey started. And the life of crime was already done. And I guess the need at that point, the violence tapered down greatly because it just didn't feel like, I think I felt a need to prove myself at some point because I was so little and stuff, or just to ward off the would-be abusers. Like, oh, Scotty fucked up these two people, leave him alone. I don't want him fucking me up. And then like when I like knew how to fuck people up, even as a blue belt, you know, that false sense of security, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like if you already been in a bunch of street situations and you have like a blue belt level jiu-jitsu, you're good. You're good. You know, if you're a blue belt who's never been hit and you're like, what the fuck is this? Get off. Let me grab your pant leg. You know, like, did you bow? Did you bow? Did we high five? Did we fist bump before we did this? Like, they don't know.
Did you say that your proper number of Hail Marys to Elio, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So how'd you end up in Cali?
So through the world of modeling, I picked up commercial representation for like TV commercials, and they did dabble in like soap operas and stuff like that, and like different things that were like TV related, but they didn't have like the real theatrical division where like, I mean, some of them did have the division where it's like film and television, but like if you're with a commercial agent, didn't mean you were gonna be walking in for any like guest stars or anything on regular TV. TV shows, scripted TV shows, back then. And so I winded up getting with an agency, and then I never did commercials. I think I did one commercial where I didn't have to talk, because those commercials they sent me, it was like, gotta have my pops, and I'd be like, gotta have my pops, like I am smiling, you fucking dick, like, do people walk around telling you to smile all fucking day? That's kind of weird. What the fuck's wrong? Like, I wasn't enthusiastic about commercials, but I started training, like going to acting classes and learning like, oh wait, I can be real. I can be like different versions of myself where I don't have to be like, yeah, mom, gee, that's great. Like, I don't want to do that. Now I want to do it because it's fun and goofy. But like, then I didn't, like, I just wanted to be as honest and real. And then I find out like that whatever it was, 18, 19, like, it was like, well, that's what acting should be. It should be as honest and real as possible. If, obviously like a half-hour TV show, it's not, Full House isn't about that. Alf isn't about that, right? Like,
hey, you put some respect on Alf's name right now.
I mean, Alf was an honest actor himself, but Willie.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Lucky was horrible. And that's why Lucky was
Alf was eating cats before that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, he did eat cats.
Was that? You think that was like some sort of like Alf?
I think it's a sexual innuendo.
Yeah, Alf is pussy. Alf really loves to eat pussy.
So anyway,
Lucky was a pussy cat, but he never got to eat Lucky.
Friend zone.
How do you remember? Like, I didn't even remember like Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. Like, are you remembering?
Like, my opening statement is I have a bad memory because of
and then you remember the name of like, Alf's cat.
Because these things were all I had as a child. This is all I had.
I guess that's so. It's like you remember your best friend's phone number from like grade school, but
718-631-0237.
You just can't remember like what you ate
phone number
for lunch.
I'm starting to understand why you got stabbed a couple of times. It's all coming clear now.
Yeah, because I like Alf. Let me 18. Call me.
So you moved to Cali, and then did you start training jiu-jitsu as soon as you got out there?
I moved to Cali because of the acting. Like, I had booked a show. I booked a soap opera where a certain person whose name I'm not supposed to say, I met on that show. And then I ran into him in an acting class in LA. And then I got
Wait, we don't get to hear the person's name?
Well, I already said it. You're like, oh, don't say that name. It's you can't bring, you can't.
Oh, I got you.
So me and him met at an acting class. And then another guy that, unrelated, that we all like knew each other. And he was fucking with me. He's like, because we were on the soap opera together. And I forgot. I didn't remember. It was years before. It was the first job I did. So I did the soap opera, did a couple of movies in New York. And then I was like supposed to go to LA for pilot season. Like they used to do, I don't think they still do it, but they would like between like, I think April and June, all the shows that were going to be made, they'd all start casting them in LA and New York too. But like in LA was like where everything was. So they're like, they told me don't go to LA. They're like, you're too rough around the edges. They're not going to get you. You're going to scare them off. And I had some interactions with agents from like at the time Writers and Artists, which was a very big agency, and the LA division came to New York to meet talent, which I was one of. And the guy was just like a jerk off. He was on the phone the whole time being a dick. So I winded up taping up his whole office while he was on the phone, not paying attention. Like I took Scotch tape and I just put it all over the office, made a spider web of tape. And then I hopped out.
How
Like,
much tape did this dude have in his office?
I just kept taking the roll and kept doing, and he's just on the phone, like, hold on. And like, I'm sitting there waiting in this meeting, like in front of him, just listening. And I was like, got bored. And then I hopped out backwards on a chair. Like I made the chair bounce and I went out of the office. And when I got to the door, I looked at him and I was like, and I bounced, right? And then everyone was like, oh my God, what did you do? I'm like, fuck that dude. And so I was like, I don't care. Like, who the fuck, you know? And then my agent was like, yeah, my main agent was like, yeah, he's right. He's like, you did the right thing. Fuck that guy. But
All right. We like the agent.
Yeah.
because but things like that, like my New York reps were like, cool. My New York management was cool, but they were like, we don't know. Drove out to LA. As soon as I got to LA, I booked a test deal for a fucking TV show, which is like a big deal. Like you're testing for a show. You have to go through all the casting, the audition, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, we want this guy. So it was like me and like 3 other people. So everyone in New York's like, okay, you should stay. Like, so then I was like, I'll stay for like 3 months in LA, which turned out to be, 21, 22 years, right? Or whatever it is. And that's how I wound up in LA. In LA, when I first got there, I called my New York people and I was like, yo, who do I train like jiu-jitsu here? I'm going to be here for a while. And they're like, oh, go to Hickson's. So then I went to Hickson's. And that was jiu-jitsu in LA until, years later, Eddie Bravo. I was actually at the gym, which was Bomb Squad, doing Thai boxing. It was 1 block, 2 blocks from my house. So I'd
How
walk
far
over.
did you get with Hickson before you switched over and trained with Eddie?
Oh, I know this one. Blue belt.
Well, I got my blue belt in New York.
Dang it, I was wrong.
I got my blue belt in New York. No one got anything really at Hickson's because Hickson was never there.
Oh, so he didn't rank people.
So he was there a little bit, and then Hoxton died, and then it was game over. Like,
Yeah, I heard that.
In Brazil.
I mean, that makes so much sense, man. I mean, I can't imagine like trying to stay motivated for other
prior
people.
to that, he wasn't really around. He'd
I
come
hear
in.
you. I hear you.
He'd come in the gym, and like, if you were late that day, he'd be like, "You're late. You can't come to class." And like one time, he said it to me, and I was like, "No, dude, you're late. You haven't been here in a like I'm not. No, I'm getting on the mat.
I'm sure that went over super well.
No,
So anyway, needless to say, you found yourself.
No, it was fine. Hickson was actually really good about like shit that is important to people. Like he would remember, he wouldn't see me forever and be like, Scott, come here. I'm like, oh, motherfucker, Hickson knows my name. And in that setting, it's not I don't know what it's like now, but like from what I've seen, it was different then. Like Hickson came and everyone's like, oh shit, he's here, and everyone's wide-eyed and listening and nodding, and like, oh, like now it's like people just talk shit about each other,
Yeah.
Like there's no order, there's no respect, there's no like, oh, this guy's this rank, I should, just be quiet, or I shouldn't like argue with him about some other archaic shit. Like that whole mystique of martial arts has just gone out the fucking window,
Do you miss that?
Huh?
Do you miss that part of it?
I didn't ever give a shit about it. I didn't like the bow to your sensei thing.
Yeah.
Because it got to me, I was like, well, I'm an adult, So years ago, my friend Ryan Drexler, the guy who like owns Muscle Farm, but even though it's a public company, he's a black belt now. He trained with the guys from Street Sports, and now he's in some Machado affiliate. He's in Vegas now. Anyway, he was training I got him into jiu-jitsu. So he's training with me, and he's at 10th Planet with us. And he's, at that point, before Muscle Farm, he's already like, I don't even know how many millions he's worth, He's a very, very rich person. He sold Country Life was his, I believe was his farm's nutritional supplement company, family business. He took over, sold it to Japan for like $50 million or something insane, like, like a lot of money, right? And we're in there, and he's this hedge fund millionaire dude, and like Denny Propokos, who's like 20 at the time, just talks to him in a way you know, very just shitty, not mean-spirited at all. But hey, kid, come here. Let me show you. You know, like, and my friend's just like, who the fuck is this guy talking to? Like, I run board meetings. Like, I'll like, I can make this person disappear and never be talked about again. And so, in that sense, I never liked it. You know, I never liked the bow to your sensei mentality. I think it's great for little kids. They need structure. They need that.
Yeah.
But I'm running a facility with a collective group of people. Some people come too late to class. Some people come early. They have families. They have things to do. I'm not going to be the one to be like, well, you better not come here if you're late. Like, motherfuckers running 2 jobs trying to feed its baby. You know, like
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it too.
Children, yes. Adults, no. You know, I appreciate when someone leaves the gym and they say, "Hey, coach, bye." I don't like when they just put their head down and run out. I'm like, "Bye, fuck you. You're welcome." You know, say bye. Say bye to everyone. We're your friends. We're your teammates. Like, so yeah, I wouldn't say I miss it. I don't like, you know, if some kid who's like doing well on the tournament scene, and not that I can't specifically say people who's like a purple belt or a blue belt or whatever, and then they're like bashing and belittling some guy who's, you know, like a fucking coral belt, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dude, man, like, you wouldn't be where you are without people like that.
Paving
You know?
the way. Hey, before we go any further, I think Lindsay's got to get out of here.
Bye.
But
I got to go work out.
yeah, she's committed to being
I
awesome.
guess you really like this interview. Okay.
Yeah.
What
She makes
No
me give her a hard
offense,
stop.
Einstein, I think you're the best, but I got to go build this muscle up.
I want something like, hey, I got to watch this paint dry. It's really important.
That's actually what you do for fun.
Yeah.
Just watch paint dry.
Well,
Go before he starts in again. All right, I'm not done yet. I may never leave.
Lindsey, go get swole. Do some testosterone. You got a beard.
I don't know what you said. I can't hear you anymore, but I know it was sweet.
Better off. I said testosterone intake.
All right, so this is really the most important part that I wanted to have you on for, is I want you to kind of dig into what was 10th Planet like in the beginning for people who don't understand, you know, like how far 10th Planet, the culture and the respect that people put on the name, like it's a totally different world than what it was, even from when I started. But then you were the OG when I started. I think you were a brown belt when I started. Or I know you were at least a purple, or maybe you had just gotten your brown or something like that. But you were OG when I started, and I want to hear kind of your version of the history of 10th Planet and why you think that's important, and what do you think's going down in the future?
Let me check my notes on this.
Okay.
I mean, it's a long-winded, and I can be long-winded because I think that's what helps me be a very good instructor, is like details, you know, my storytelling, and it's very detailed. Sometimes it's too much, like shut the fuck up. But you know, if your coach is,
this is a podcast, you're supposed to talk.
You know, like you're gonna miss a lot. So initially, you know, Eddie came in to Bomb Squad and was like, they asked me who they should hire. And I was like, a black belt. Yeah, but you do jiu-jitsu. I was like, get a black belt. I don't know, find one. So I think they brought in this dude. Man, I feel bad. I don't remember his name, and I know him. And he was in Machado's black belt, and he was into footlocks back then. I think he's like a porn producer now. Like,
oh, perfect.
I can't remember his name though. And he's an older guy. He's probably 50 or something. Anyway, so he was the initial guy, and they sent me to go.
Jackie Treehorn?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And he brought Roller Girl. And I actually had lunch with him. I think Chris Riley or Todd Bird, Todd Bird was the original owner with Chris Riley. I think Chris Riley might have been the silent partner. And I think I had a meeting with that guy. I guess I was the guy who was checking. And then all of a sudden, Eddie lived down the block. And I don't know how that connection was made. And they brought him in, and I was like, clean slate. Okay, whatever you got to teach me. I know what I know, but like, just make believe I know nothing. And it was just a little ragtag group of people. And a lot of them were just free because he knew them from John Jocks. So I don't think he was making a dime. I think he was just paying rent to Riley. It might have been coming out of pocket.
He was just
And
doing it because he thought it was dope.
yeah, I don't think I ever paid. I was also like teaching all the time. So, but like I would be like, hey, I would volunteer. I loved teaching. And if you don't love teaching people, don't fucking teach. Just don't do it. Don't.
Word.
Oh, I'm gonna open a school and teach. If you don't love doing it,
Don't
fuck
do it
it.
because you're trying to get rich. It's not the game for that.
Yeah. You might get rich if you love doing it, though.
Yeah.
You might. You know.
If you love anything, I think there's a path to financial gain and reward from that. It's you need to love it, and you need to have serious hustle. Serious hustle.
I mean, I love my dogs. They ain't making me no money. Speaking of which, business phone call that I will not answer.
Thank you.
Some of us leave to go to the gym during an interview. So yeah, Eddie Bravo came in. I was open slate to him. We had this little group of guys. Like one guy was actually his neighbor. And right off the bat, you know, it was getting hate. You know, what's this no-gi thing? And you must wear the gi, and you know, the stupid nonsensical analogies of, oh, to be good at no-gi, you must wear a gi. So these guys aren't wearing, they're not going to be very good. It's not going to work. This is fake. Just and then we were on like social media platforms at the time. Well, is it websites? I don't
Like forums and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the underground, Sure Dog, all that.
All of a sudden, I got that green name. Motherfuckers shut up when I spoke.
NHB gear.
Yeah. I didn't have that one, but yeah, it was MMA.tv. Was where it was mostly, and the amount of like just shit talking and ridicule. And you know, I said it then, and I don't think we are anymore, but we were the black sheep of jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
Like we're doing jiu-jitsu, we're just doing it without dependency on sleeves and collars and pant leg, you know, and we're doing something more traditional than jiu-jitsu can ever be. We're doing wrestling. We use overhooks, underhooks, you know. We're using collar tie. Like that was first. Don't tell me my shit isn't traditional, you know. Like not that matters to me, but like wrestling was way before jiu-jitsu. So like, you know, and don't tell me I need to wear a jacket and pants to be better at wrestling. That's a ridiculous, you know.
Yeah,
like,
doesn't even make sense.
You got to do. I'm like, yeah. So you know, the guy who came in, who got the silver medal in the Olympics, if he would have trained in the gi, he definitely would have got that gold medal, or he wouldn't even been on. Wouldn't even got to the Olympics. Like, and if you say that to someone who argues with you that you got to wear a gi to be better, no gi, you say that, they're like, of course. And I'm like, how's this not making sense to you? You know, I have a million fucking analogies. Anyway, and I have a million analogies for all the fucking arguing I did. You know, like,
you were a terror on the web. You were a terror to people.
I give addresses. I'll pull up right now, motherfucker. Let's go. I'm here. Show up. And for a while, I was Eddie's pit bull. People come to the gym. I don't know who they are. Some guy from Japan. Turned out to be some fucking superstar MMA fighter that I just didn't know. And Eddie looked at me and go, Einstein. I'm like, okay. And that was
green light.
And I fucking get him. And then I find out later, like, dude, you just choked out blah, 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 like 3 times. I'm like, who? And then I look it up and I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's not a real fight. In a real fight, he would have killed me. You know, that was like, let me deflate myself a little bit. You know? And so, yeah, we had to deal with a lot, you know. And, you know, it wasn't a convenience thing for me. I was never about convenience of jiu-jitsu. Like, I took a bus and a train to go to Manhattan and train jiu-jitsu. I would go all the way to the Pacific Palisades, which was like an hour of fucking or more of traffic from Hollywood to go train at Hickson's when I had closer gyms. So it was never about convenience, even though it was convenient that it was down the block for me. But it wasn't about that. So I didn't stick by Eddie's side. I didn't stick with 10th Planet for that reason. This shit was just right. It is right. You know? And people can cherry pick all they fucking want. They can cherry pick. It doesn't matter. Like, what we do is effective for what we want to do. It's not effective for, you know, a lasso choke in a gi. I don't know. It's not going to work. Right? Is that a choke? Right? I don't know any of the things. It's not effective. Cool. You kick my ass in that. You can beat the shit out of me by pulling the belt out and pulling the lapel thing around. You got me. Cool. With that being said, even though it's a training thing, we shouldn't really talk about training. One of my students who I just gave my purple belt to, not mine, but a purple belt to, just gave it to him. Started training. He trains at an MMA gym, and there's a gi program there, so he just does that too. It's more fun for him to just do more shit.
Yeah.
Tapping out black belts in the gi. They're wearing gis. He doesn't know how to do fucking gi. So, you know, I guess the no gi principles apply to the gi. Obviously,
It's grappling, man.
yeah. Well, no, everything you do in no gi will apply to gi. Everything you do in gi will not apply to no gi. That's it.
100%.
You don't have those things. So I dealt with a lot of that, you know, and we dealt with it. And there's a lot of negativity and hate. There's always going to be, but it was way more. But now you got guys fighting in the UFC and like title contention and whatever. Your hands getting raised left and right. Tap on it for years, you know. There's wins, there's losses, you know, but there's not really a disputing it anymore. But, you know, and I mean, obviously it didn't stop anything. You know, how many affiliates are there?
Oh, like 130 or something like that, probably.
Yeah, the brand is not tarnished. It didn't get shut down. It didn't do that thing that everyone wants. For whatever, not everyone, but for some reason, when there's momentum, people are doing something, people just want it to fail because they're fucking failures. And they want everyone to be the same as them. And they success.
And really, over time, most of the grappling philosophies that Eddie had, people have adopted them, and they've proven to be at least partially correct. Like, because I remember it was, well, if you want to be good in no gi, you got to train in the gi. And then it became, well, we go gi season and no gi season. You know, you got to kind of do a little of both if you want to. And now it's more like, hey, man, listen, I'm a professional, not me, but I'm a professional fighter. I fight in the UFC and I never wear the gi. And this person will be like a savage black belt, you know.
Well, like, look at, what's his name? Like,
Gordon Ryan.
No, before him. Minotauro, right?
Oh, yeah, Nogueira.
Yeah, him and his brother, right?
Dude, I'll tell you a funny story.
We never put the gi on. What is this gi? We don't do that. Like, you don't wear the never? No. Why we do this? We fight.
I was hanging out when I was a blue belt. I can't remember what number UFC it was, but it was in Memphis. And BJ Penn was fighting Diego Sanchez. You remember that fight where he shin kicked him in the head and split his skull open, or I think he defended his title. But anyway, the night before, Rogan is having a show at a little comedy club. And so me and Lindsey and a couple of my buddies, Dirty Bird, Jonathan, we're all up there at the fight. And Eddie gets us into the Rogan show, and, you know, and Joey Diaz on before him, and Marcelo was there. Saulo and Shanji were there. And I was just standing there talking to Eddie. I really don't know him that well at this time. I'm one of his blue belts, but you know how that goes, dude. You're like, yeah, you've been around, you're nice and everything, but we don't know that much about each other. You know what I'm saying? And I remember him and Saulo, I was just standing there watching them talk, and they were having this discussion about Saulo's going, if you don't train in the gi, it's not jiu-jitsu. And Eddie's going, okay, what about Minotauro? And he goes, Minotauro is a jiu-jitsu guy. And he said, what about when Minotauro doesn't use the gi in MMA? When he wins in MMA with a submission, is that jiu-jitsu? Oh, yeah. But if you don't train the gi, if you don't wear the gi, it's not jiu-jitsu. And so Eddie's just pinning him into the corner. Saulo's getting upset, and they're getting mad at each other. I don't know about mad, but they're having a, you know, I think they were cordial. You know, it wasn't like they were getting after each other or whatever, but they were like, Eddie's like standing his ground to Saulo Ribeiro at that time. I'm like, look, man, it's just, this is what I believe. And over time, you know, of course, actually, I'm a big fan of Saulo, so I don't mean to say anything disparaging or anything like that, of course. But, you know, over time, Eddie has, jiu-jitsu wise, he's just proven himself to be true over and over and over again. You know, he's just ahead of the curve so many times.
He's willing. He's an art. That's a martial artist. He's being an artist.
Yeah.
You know, it's not being comfortable in your comfort zone. It's like, this comfort zone's uncomfortable for me. I need to branch out. You know.
Do you think that Eddie, obviously that's a lot of just who Eddie is, like naturally inside of himself. But do you think a lot of that came from just having great guidance and martial arts leadership from Jean-Jacques? Like, yeah, man, I want you to branch out. I want you to do it your way. And I want you to see what you know, express yourself through the art.
I'm not going to entirely say that. I think Eddie probably was doing his own thing, and then Jean-Jacques saw that and goes, "Oh, this works. Go ahead."
Yeah.
Versus someone else, a lot of someone else's, who'd be like, "Don't do that," because
Yeah, they'd clamp down on him for sure.
Yeah, I didn't show you that. That's not real. That's not gonna. That was 10th Planet. All these other coaches and other, that doesn't work. It's still happening now. It's happening now with leg locks.
Well, it happens in no gi. It's
How many
a
people are saying like, "Oh, we don't do leg locks here."
yeah.
What? What more proof do you fucking need? What do you want? It's handed to you on a silver platter. This shit's really effective. You need to start doing it. I don't know.
But you know, Jean-Jacques was probably the first Brazilian that really had to open his mind to that kind of like, oh, you know, I'm gonna give this guy a little rope here. I'm gonna give him a little lean. And it speaks also to me. It speaks to like the confidence and the open mindedness of Jean-Jacques to be able to go, you know what, it doesn't have to be my way. Like, I want you to branch out and expand and like dive into the art side of martial arts.
Yeah, but also could be Eddie's just whole thing with music and all that too.
Well, no, Eddie's definitely he's
it-
crazy, you know.
It's like, hey, let me change this chord. I don't know, guitar, whatever. Let me make this sound differently. That's not normal. That's different. I want to be different. You know, I want to be different, but I want it to be effective and useful. Like, you can be different and suck, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
it's different, but that shit just doesn't work, you know? Like, it's none of that's gonna work. It's cool, fun, great, you know.
They call that catch wrestling.
Some of it works though. But
I'm just playing.
we'll get Josh
I just say that to piss off Johnny Buck.
they love to fucking take my execution and go, "That's the Dragon Sleeper." They pissed me off one day so much, I was like, okay, let me look back on the files here. And I looked through the internet and I'm like, this is the Dragon Sleeper. That is not what I'm doing. In fact, if someone did this to me or anyone, it's not going to work. The Dragon Sleeper is a move that will not work.
So what specifically do they call the Dragon Sleep? So you have a version of the executioner of that movement, and I do mine different. I learned it initially from you, and then I do like another thing with mine. You stay out of north-south.
No, what you have is, I believe I've seen it, you have the original executioner.
Where you take the back and body triangle and everything.
Yeah, that was the original executioner I came up with Eddie. It was me, Eddie, douchebag Larry. Logan was there.
Wait, who's douchebag Larry? I don't know douchebag Larry.
Well, douchebag Larry like owns a nutritional company too, and he was part of like it was like Eddie Bravo, Joe Rogan, Tate Fletcher, and they all would like pop up. And he had like, he's a real rich guy. He has like condo and houses in like Vegas and in LA, and he would just get this condo. He was a millionaire matchmaker, right? He's like that kind of douchebag. He's douchebag Larry. It's legit. Fuck you, Larry, to see this. What are you gonna do? And so, you know, some like, we're in his limo going to Vegas, and I'm not a weed smoker really. Like, it's very rare. And I smoked with Eddie. Like, even if I didn't smoke, I was gonna get high. We're in the back of a limo, and we're just talking, and it's a long trip. And I was like, just high, and like, wait a minute, Eddie, come here. What if I have the body lock from the back and I can't get the choke? What if I reach all the way over and pull? He's like, oh. Yeah. I was like, what if it'll fucking rip your neck off? Like, this will kill. And then I ran with that. And now there's evolutions as how you hold the hand and where the leg placement should be to elevate the person so that if they do have so if you have the body lock and someone has like a long flexible neck, the neck, if you're not on the side, will hit the floor and you got nothing, right? If you get to the side and do it, you can get them. The gold mine is how you put the ball and socket grip on the back of the shoulder and push it forward, because then they're here, but then their whole body, their spine goes forward.
When you showed it to me, it was more like you showed it to me from like a north-south position.
Yeah,
it's like an alternate north-south.
Yeah, but the roots of it are from the back. That's where it started. And then I felt
set it up the way you showed me. I still set it up the same way you showed me, but I go from there to the back, and I always go to the back to finish it. So I go from the north-south grip to the back. Yeah. So like reverse order, I guess, of what you're talking about, but same stuff.
Well, it's not reverse order because I didn't go to the back, then let go to north-south. I started setting it up from north-south a lot. They would defend north-south turns and blah, blah, blah. And I'd have the hands in the position, but they felt safe. And I was like, I'm picking you up, put them on the side, step over, drag them over me.
Were you there in LA with me? I brought Johnny Buck with me. Do you know John Buck?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've cornered him, I think, once or twice. And grappling things.
Yeah, well, I brought him to LA with me for Gracie Worlds when he was a purple belt, or Gracie National, whichever one it was. And he hit that thing twice. But what he does, dude, he's a catch wrestling aficionado. Like, one of the guys that actually uses catch wrestling to win grappling matches. And dude, he grabbed that first guy in that north-south, and he looked over at me. He looked over at me and he goes, and I just go, stand up. And he goes, roar, and just broke the guy's spine in half. And the guy is flailing. He's tapping in midair, like reaching for the air to tap.
I think there was a guy named Gunner. I mean, I know there was a guy named Gunner. There is a guy named Gunner. He's like this dude that's off. Sorry, Gunner. That was OG Bomb Squad. And he would do something like that from standing. He might have done like the real executioner from he would do I don't know how he would set it up, but he would just be crouching and just do sort of like an executioner, but I think it was lower in the back. More
so brutal. That's one of the nastiest things you can do to somebody, man.
What the fuck is Gunner's deal? I don't know if Gunner was on the spectrum or just an awkward person. I like him. I liked Gunner.
All right, dude. Unfortunately, I literally only got to one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. I want you to come on again, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you, man. You're one of my favorite guys ever. Oh, I do want to tell you that. I don't think I've ever told you this before. I think you'll appreciate this tremendously before I go. So when I think I was maybe, I might have been a blue belt still, but one of my students, he still trains with me. He's one of my brown belts now. Call him Beowulf. He was like, dude, you know this Einstein guy? I was like, I've met him a couple of times. He's like, man, I love this dude. I need to bring him out. I want you to bring him out for a seminar. I was like, dude, guy's a jerk. Never bring him out for a seminar. And then over the years, dude, I don't know. I love you, man. And I really appreciate you. And for real, I appreciate the hard work and all the blood and sweat and tears and sacrifice that you poured into really making 10th Planet something special, especially for those of us that have come along after you. And the dudes now who may not know you, put some respect on Einstein, show him some love.
They won't. They're like, I don't know who the fuck is that guy.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm
on YouTube.
I got you right here, dog.
I have so much fucking hate that my friend was trying to show his son who just got into jiu-jitsu videos of me on YouTube. So he has it on the TV in his house. So he goes to YouTube and puts in Scott Epstein or Einstein jiu-jitsu. It's the first 4 fights that are the most heavily hit, not fights, grappling matches are all ones that I lost. People are specifically writing Scott Epstein loses, Scott Epstein. So it's 3 that I lost. One I was it was a mistake. I took Vicodin and I trying to.
Oh my God.
I couldn't move. I was like, this feels great. I somehow didn't get tapped. It was just like points. And then the other one was like, I agreed to take a match with after I got surgery on my leg, on my meniscus. And I was like, it was a month away. I was like, I'll be fine. And I wasn't fine. So I just had to defend, and I got outscored by 1,000,000 points. At least there's nothing of me getting tapped. And then like later on, then you see me fucking shit up. But it's like, no one's going to even go that far down the rabbit hole. I was like, that's how much people still don't fucking like me. They look for me losing versus just look for me.
Well, listen, dude, you're easy to not like. And that's my favorite part about you. That's my number one favorite part. You're prickly and you're beautiful. But man, once you get past the little prickles,
people don't like
there
the
ain't,
truth.
there ain't nobody like Einstein, dude.
Nobody likes honesty. They want to be told. They want to hear what they want to hear. Tell me
All
I'm
right,
pretty.
closing remarks. Where do we need to follow you? Anything you want to say? It's all yours.
Oh, I said enough.
All right.
You got questions? I got answers, homie. What am I on? The gym page. So I do a lot of. I do the Jiu-Jitsu 10th Planet West LA page on Instagram. I do a lot of breakdowns on techniques. Obviously, I'm trying to do them in under a minute or whatever it is. So like, I do my best. Again, I'm overly detailed sometimes, and that's fine because one of those over details might have been really crucial for someone watching, and they just never learned that. Well, turn your wrist this way. So I'm not apologizing for that. But there's a bunch of shit on there. You just look through, be patient, just keep looking, and you might find something that really resonates in you, and it's already part of your game, but you just didn't realize, oh, if I do this, it fucking works out great. A little bit of theory. And then that page is 10PWLA, 10th Planet West LA team on Instagram. And then I have the other one where I started posting a bunch of shit. What's the thing called? The kids like it?
Oh, TikTok.
That's the name is not jiu-jitsu related because I didn't know I was going to do jiu-jitsu. So it's like not funny on TikTok. It's like, so not funny on TikTok is the jiu-jitsu. I don't know how to change the name.
And if you're a 10th Planet head and you're ever in LA, look, I go to LA all the time. Tell them Einstein. I always drop in. If I got time to train, I'm always dropping in at 10th Planet West LA. Even sometimes when I don't have time, I still make my way over there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Always. There's definitely a good group of guys that come in from other places that show face. There's a ton that don't. It doesn't matter to me. At this point, I don't fucking care if they don't show up. It's like, hey, go to HQ, take your pictures, put them on Instagram. I get it. I have to do like another movie for people to be like, oh, go to Einstein.
Oh yeah, you were in which is Never Back Down. Was that the name of it?
Never Back Down is one of the movies. That's the one that fight community knows. But I've been in a handful of movies and TV shows.
Yeah. So if you've never seen Never Back Down, that's Einstein. He's the bad guy, and he's bald.
I am not the bad guy. I am the good guy. They fucked with me. I took a stand for everywhere. I took a stand for. It's not funny. They fucked with me. They jumped me. I was just trying to like work at the bookstore, the comic book store, and that girl was really mean to me for no reason. I thought we had a lot in common, and I thought maybe she'd like to get some coffee with me, and she called me like a dork and rolled her eyes. What the fuck is wrong with her? That was
She wasn't wrong.
That was strike one. And then those punks, they jumped me. They jumped me and they fucked me up, and I need to have my revenge. So I trained.
If you need to know how that went down, Never Back Down 2 on VHS. Yeah. Thank you for joining the show, everybody.